You can stare at that pile of bedding all day long until the cows come home. There's not going to be a head popping out of there. I slept alone last night. My buddy, I had just dropped him off when everything went down. If you didn't catch the vlog last night, an hour and a half, 2 hours before I was getting ready to go on this big trip that I had planned, bought tickets for and everything, I got an audition ticket letting me know that I had a callback today for a commercial. And I had to wrestle with the idea, but I decided to stay in town and go to the audition. And since I had just dropped Jaw off, I just let him stay there and play all night. Good morning, Lionhearts! That was my water bottle. As soon as I started filming, the air inside bloop, made the burp. Good morning, guys! How are you? My Lionhearts, how are you? It's your old pal, Jordan the Lion. I woke up because I had a call from my agent, just calling to let me know that they had talked to the casting directors and said that they weren't going to be able to see me on Friday. So I said, well, I decided not to go, so I'm here. I'll be there for the audition. And my agent's quote was, good, I think you made the right choice. So maybe that's a good sign. Maybe that means there's only a small 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that are narrowed down for this. So never know. Sometimes what's cool is if you do something great in the audition and they decide to go with somebody else. I have known people and circumstances where they just end up casting you anyway and they create something for you. So who knows? That's why I always go in and try and be as lively and animated as I can for what they're looking for. But I got to get my shower, go pick up Jaw, get the day started, drink my coffee, and then I'm going to go to my audition at 2 o'clock. Now, they have the audition at a different place this time, so I guess I'll probably be in front of the advertising executives and the people that are buying this commercial and probably the director and all that stuff. But where the commercial is actually taking place is down on Wilshire, and there's always something down there to vlog, so I'll pick something out and I'll show you. I think I'll do that today. I didn't plan a vlog today because I didn't think I was going to be here. I did all my work thinking I was going to be somewhere else, so we'll have a great day anyway. You guys know me. I will always come up with something interesting. I was last night just combing through online and I found 20 new places that I didn't know about that I'm going to go do. Not just movie star homes, actual kind of out of the way places that I never even knew existed that are kind of word of mouth places. So the vlog is about to get really interesting, including I found that there is actually a museum dedicated to a guy who they say was the real life Indiana Jones and who Indiana Jones was based off of. So I'll probably go out and check out his house at some point. I've never seen a truck like that. That's interesting. Dissemination. Alright guys, so I've been trying to mull over what I'm going to do today for the vlog. And I was just going to go and show you guys a bunch of places that used to be something. Then it dawned on me, I'm going to be kind of over there and a few blocks away from where I actually met Shelley and how my friendship with Shelley Winters actually came about. And I thought, you know what? Why not tell you about the day that I met her and how we became friends and all that stuff? And I'll cruise by and take a look at the place. I haven't been there in 10 years. The one day I don't have to take the freeway anywhere, and it's a beautiful open road. Look at that. Come on. All right, so to give you guys a little bit of backstory on this, basically what had happened was I had worked for a film production company, and I was the basically public relations for that. And it was a lady who had been a part of another company. They had bought her out, and she was going to start her own venture. Somebody told her about me. I was looking for a job. She hired me to be the secretary, and the first day she was so impressed by my work that she promoted me. Problem was, this lady was terrible with money. And I'm guessing that's why they bought her out, because she ended up spending the entire company's basic allotment of money on her brother's defense, who was in prison in Las Vegas. So I was out of work. I had been out of work for about 6 months, and I started hiking every day up there where I take Jaw. And I met this girl hiking up there. She said, hey, I can help you get a job if you want. You could be a delivery guy at the restaurant that I worked at. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that because I'd always been told you're only as good as your last job. So if you take that job and then you try and apply for like a real job or a professional job, you're probably not going to get it. But I needed money, and I was in a band at the time, so I just said, well, I need my nights free so I can do shows. And she said, well, they're looking for a daytime delivery driver. Do you want me to put a word in? She goes, the guy who's the manager over where I work, he'll love you. She goes, his dad wrote a bunch of songs for Elvis, and which was true. The guy's name was Warren Tepper. His dad wrote a ton of songs. You can find collections. It's called Tepper and someone else. I forget who his partner was. But they wrote a bunch of non-hit songs for Elvis. And she said, just, I'll put a word in for you. Go in there and just tell him like you're out of money, that you need a job. He's a real people person. He'll hire you. So that's what I did. And she also said, we get a lot of people from the record industry that order from there, so you'll probably be delivering to like RCA and Geffen and all these record labels. Maybe you can pass off your record, which did eventually happen. So I took a job as a delivery driver. It was extremely humbling. I actually had hair down to here, and they made me put it in a ponytail every day. So the day that I met Shelley was actually right here at this place that I'm going to show you, and I had long hair and I had it in a ponytail. Wow, they had a massive accident right here. As I was waiting to cross the street, I heard the two ladies on the corner saying that they witnessed it, and said one of the ladies ran a red light. Yikes. Well, here's where I met Shelley. It was about the end of my delivery day. I always got off about 3 o'clock, and at 2:30 an order came in, and I didn't really want to take it because I didn't think I would make any money since it was so close. But they forced me to take it. I come over here, and the name on the order was Patricia. And so I go up to the room, and there's a lady laying in the bed, and her assistant comes up to me to pay me. And the lady laying in bed says, honey, you have the most beautiful hair I've ever seen on a man. And I was like, oh, thank you. And when I had walked in the room, her name was actually on the door frame. So it said Shelley Winters. I knew whose room it was. So I look over and I'm like, oh, thank you very much. That means a lot coming from you. And she goes, oh, you don't even know who I am. And I said, of course I know who you are. I said, I used to watch you on Roseanne. And she's like, oh, but you don't know really who I am. You don't know the real good stuff that I do. And I was like, yeah, I do. And I said I was reading a book at the time, and she started telling me a story. And I don't remember what the story involved, but she was telling me, I think it was something about when she was working on the Paramount lot. And she told me that she was trying to remember a studio head name, and I was reading a book, and I said, oh, it was blah, blah, blah. And she goes, how do you know that? And I go, oh, I love old Hollywood history. And she goes, oh, well, she said, I get really bored here. She said, would you come back and visit me sometime? I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess so. She goes, go read my book. And I was like, okay. So I went to the library, I got her book, and 3 or 4 days later I came back on my day off and I hung out with her. And it was a lot of fun. She just really liked to recount stories and tell about her life and, you know, basically what people do when they don't really have much else going on right now. And what she told me was that she had gotten pneumonia and was in Cedars-Sinai, which is basically right up this road. And she had had pneumonia for a month, and in that time, she had lost the ability to walk. So they had sent her here so that she could relearn how to walk. The problem was, when she came here, she became a big fish in a little pond. And even though Sid Caesar was here, everybody fawned over her. Everybody loved her, and everybody wanted to come in and meet her and say hi and get photos. And basically what ended up happening was, whenever the physical therapy people would come in to work with her, she would start basically acting. She would start crying, or she would start saying, I don't feel good today, I don't want to do it today, my legs hurt, this hurts, that hurts. She just didn't want to do it. And one day the physical therapist comes in, and she loved this guy. He was an actor and he was real charming and stuff, and one day he comes in, he says, "Shelley, they're taking me off your case." And she said, no, I won't let him. He said, "It's out of your hands, it's out of my hands. There's nothing that can be done now." And she starts crying and she says, "Well, I'll get up now and I'll do it now." And he said, "No, it's too late." He said, "Shelley, I've been working with you for weeks and you've made no progress, and there's always an excuse, and now to the insurance company it looks like we're committing fraud." Well, this really hit her hard. That really hit her hard. And her birthday was coming up in about 2 months. So what she ended up doing was she started getting a little bit motivated to want to get out of here. And it was kind of my doing, and it was her, also a friend of hers that met her while she was in here named Lisa. And basically we would come as often as we could, and what we would do is we would fill her mind with all these great ideas of like, "Hey Shelley, wouldn't it be great to go out to eat tonight or go have dinner at your house tonight?" And we would just always mention her house and remind her that she had a house. Because like I said, she got so comfortable here, she just really told me, she was like, "I don't care if I ever leave." But her birthday was coming up, and one day we really hit her hard with it, and I'm like, "You should try and get out of here." I was like, "You're missing out on so much good stuff that people coming over, and you wouldn't have to worry about visitation hours or anything anymore." So she decides for her birthday that she wants to get out of here. And we set a plan, knowing full well that I knew full well it probably wasn't going to happen. Honestly, I honestly just thought we would get over here and she would decide she wasn't gonna leave. But I had actually, the only person I knew with a car at the time was Michael. So I called up Michael and I said, "Are you free at this time to help me move her out?" And he goes, "Yeah, I am." So he brought his car over here, and that day, sure enough, I showed up and she was in her wheelchair with all of her stuff packed, ready to rock. And she had told somebody else she was gonna leave, so they were also here. And basically what ended up happening was they took her to her house, and we took the rest of her stuff with us, got her out, and she got to go spend, I believe it was her 83rd birthday party at home. And that's actually what got her out of here. But she spent, in the time that I knew her, I would say she was here for, well, I met her right after my grandmother died, which was literally right now. So I probably met Shelley this time in 2004, literally almost to the day I met her here. And so she was here I met her in March, and she got out around her birthday, which would have been in August. So for about 6 months I would come visit her here. She was on the second floor, a couple of windows down, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. Just seeing like all the people that would come in and fawn all over her, and we actually became really good friends here because, you know, it was, at that point, there was no fame involved. She liked me because I was young and I had an outlook on life, and she missed that, and she had been a teacher at the Actors Studio and always loved teaching young kids. So for her it was immediately like we were both Leos, so we got along great. And when we met, she's like, you should be an actor. I don't tell everybody that. She goes, "But you have something. You're very likable right away. You should be an actor." "And I'll teach you. When I get out of here, I'll teach you." So that was also one of the things I would always say. I'm like, "Shelley, if you get out of here, then you can teach me and make me a good actor." And I had a band at the time, and we were finishing our album, the Orange Sash album, and I would bring it in and let her listen to it. And I remember there was a song on there called "At Least It's Not a Holocaust," and I was just basically saying, like, no matter what happens in my life, nothing will ever be as bad as like it being a Holocaust. And she heard it, and she like stops and she goes, "Honey, you got to take that song off there." I go, "No, there's nothing wrong with that song." She goes, "Honey, you can't make fun of the Holocaust." And I said, "I'm not making fun of it. I'm comparing it." She goes, "Honey, you can't do it." She goes, "Too many Jewish people run things in this town. You'll get blackballed. You don't want to do it. Trust me, as somebody who had to help people get out of being blackballed, you don't want to do it." And I did keep the song on there, but it was during that time where we were having trouble with, like, our bass player wasn't always available to perform shows and stuff, and I would tell her about that, and she just said, One day she's like, that's why I told you, you'll only make it if you do it yourself. She said, trust me on that. She said, and you're so likable and you're a man, so it doesn't matter how old you are. It could take till you're in your 50s or 60s for you to make it, but you'll make it, so don't give up. Just keep working at it. And this was where I met her, this is how I met her, and yeah, what an odd thing to happen in your life. But like I said, everything happens for a reason. And for me to lose my job and be unemployed for that amount of time, and then when I finally do get a job, I would meet her out of it. And then when she got out, she would pull kind of like pranks. She would call my work and ask, like specifically ask for me to deliver her stuff, or she would come in and eat and tell them like she was there to see me, and my bosses would be like, how do you know her? But yeah, it was from here. Now I know I probably shouldn't say this, but like, I have never been a fan of retirement homes. I've never liked them, and this is this place was basically what it was, or what it felt like. And so I really had to force myself sometimes to come visit her because it was just so depressing. I mean, and my grandpa used to take me to visit his parents in the retirement homes, and I always said, even then, I was like, God, I'd rather die than be in this place. Oddly enough, my grandpa feels the exact same way. He always jokes with me. He's like, if I get to the point where I don't know what's going on and I don't know who you are, you know where my shotgun is. Just tell me to look at something on the wall and take care of business. I'm not going to, but I also am not going to ever let him go to a retirement home, and I know my sister won't allow that either, so he's safe. I was driving by something and I saw that there was free time on the meter, so I figured I'm going to stop and show you guys this. This has absolutely zero to do with Shelley, but I had to tell you this, and I probably should have just saved this for its own vlog, but I'm going to do it now. The building that you would see in front of you used to be Death Row Records, Suge Knight's label. And when I had that same job working for Jerry's Deli as a delivery boy, one day they sent me out to this address. Death Row was already defunct, and Suge had just got out of prison maybe a couple of weeks before. And you see that parking structure over there? When I had to come here, he had like 3 or 4 Rolls Royces, like he had about 8 cars in there, a basketball hoop. It was like a fun center. And so I had to come over here and deliver his food. And that was a pretty weird experience because the entire building was defunct. When I went in and got buzzed in, I took the elevator up to the floor that they told me on the ticket, and when I got to the floor, it was literally just a forgotten business. Literally. It was posters and stuff from Death Row, as though the business had all of a sudden literally one day just stopped being in operation. There was paper strewn across the floor, telephones, old desks and computers and stuff. Literally just like one day, people were just said, hey, don't come in tomorrow and don't come in ever. So I go in there and I'm waiting for somebody to finally help me, and when you're a delivery guy, time is money. You want to get your stuff dropped off, get your tip, and get out of there so you can get back and get more bags to go deliver. And this was taking a while, and it was one of Suge's helpers or boys or whatever, and he goes, hold on, I'll go get your money. And he's gone for like 10-15 minutes. He comes back and he just like reeks of weed, and still doesn't have our money. And then Suge walks by and he's like, hey Suge, I need some money. And he goes, how much you need? And I think I was owed about 40 bucks, but there was a pizza guy who had shown up at the same time, and he was owed like 25 bucks for pizza and wings. Guy goes, I need 100 bucks plus tip. I see Suge just whip out like 500 bucks, literally just counts out a stack of bills, hands it to the guy, and the guy just pulls one off, walks over to me and the other delivery guy with a $100 bill and says, here, break this. So we break it. He has a $5 bill in his hand. He goes, here you go, split this for your tip. That was probably one of the lowest tips I ever got, and it wasn't Suge's fault because I saw Suge give this guy like stacks of money, and I had actually talked to people that had delivered here before, and they said Suge always tipped like 50 bucks a person. But this was Death Row Records. It's not anymore, but for a long time it just sat here defunct, and If you don't really know the story of Death Row, it was basically like when NWA was happening and Ice Cube felt like he was getting ripped off by Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and all these guys felt like they were getting ripped off by their manager. Eventually, Suge Knight would be the guy to help them get out of their management contracts, and Suge Knight and Dr. Dre would kind of start up and get Death Row Rock, and it became the biggest rap label of its day. All right, audition time. Wish me luck, guys. All right, guys, I'm finally done. 2 hours in there for my audition. Let me tell you what happened. I got there about 20 minutes early, and then they got started about 15 minutes late. When I finally went in to do my audition, I walk in, and the guy who's going to direct the commercial is a pretty well-known comedian. I don't know him that well. I've met him, but I didn't know him that well. And let's just say he was one of the co-founders of the Chappelle Show. So I did my audition, and the girl that I was auditioning with, as soon as we get done, he looks at us and he said, "Did you guys get a chance to read the audition for the same spot except the family version?" And we're like, "No, we didn't." He goes, "I like you guys. I think I might have you guys read for that." So we come out of the room and we wait for a few minutes. Nobody says anything to us, so the girl that auditioned and we left. We came out here, started walking away, and then the casting director comes and chases us down the street, yells, says, "They want to see you again, they want to see you again." So they gave me a different script where they wanted me to be a cheesy dad making hokey jokes, and so I auditioned for that, did that part, and went out in the lobby, and about 2 minutes later they're like, "Oh, they want to see you one more time with a different woman." So I auditioned again for a third time, and now I'm out of here. So hopefully between those two spots I'll get one of them. Fingers crossed, I need it. Well, it's National Puppy Day. It's 4 o'clock and I still don't have my puppy. I've been trying to get a hold of him all day, and the one who's not home is the only one responding. The one who's supposed to be home is I can't get a response from. So, where's Jaw? It's good to have you back, Jaw. Good to have you back. It'd be nice to see your face instead of seeing you pee every time you're on camera. I missed you, bud. Good to see you. Well, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. I am completely wiped out, and Jaw's home, and I'm happy now. And keep your fingers crossed for me. Hopefully, I'll get that commercial. Or something will happen. Who knows? I'm going to feel optimistic about this. Anyway, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, and thanks for watching my vlogs. I appreciate it. From Hollywood, California, it's your old pal Jordan the Lion saying good night.